What do you say, everybody? 14 Guitars here, and woo! We had a fantastic ride at the Enoree OHV Cycle Trail. It's north of Columbia, South Carolina, about an hour off of I-26. And it's three-dimensional terrain, lots of fun, beautiful conditions. It was about 70 degrees. I rode all 5 loops twice, which is about 36 miles, something like that. I don't know for sure. Had a little bit of a get off on the home stretch, probably not 2 miles from the end. I thought this one jump was there's a jump that's a chicane. It's made to slow you down before a left turn, and the visibility was getting a little low, and I thought I hit that little chicane jump already. So when I actually came to it, my brain thought that the trail kept going straight there, and it did not. You know, you got to slow down for this jump. You can't jump it normally and keep your speed up because you have to make an immediate left turn. And so I hit the jump too fast. I landed where the berm makes the left in front of you, and bounced my face off the bars. I got these little vampire marks from a little bruising from my helmet, hitting my lip, hitting my jaw, and I held on, which I don't try. I just don't let go of the bike when I crash. I don't let go until the bike tipped over. So we bounced through the air, and then the bike hit, and there was a log, and thankfully an old kind of rotted log that the bike kind of straddled and dumped me over the front. So it is on video. It's so embarrassing. You know, I don't mind falling over, you know, taking a super sandy turn and just falling over. That's not too embarrassing. That happens to me, even if I'm riding great that day. You know, it's not uncommon for me to fall over every now and then. But something like this is a little more, you know, one, it could have been a little more dangerous. I could have gotten hurt, which I didn't, thankfully. I've got a pretty good deep bruise in my right thigh. Probably hit the handlebars or maybe the peg, but probably the bars, I would guess. I'm not sure, on the way off. Other than that, I didn't really get any kind of injury at all. This is not an injury, right? This is temporary discomfort. As I tell my nephew, my nephews from a very young age, anytime they would have a little boo-boo, I'd say, remember, that's temporary discomfort. So years later, I remember my nephew hit his thumb with a hammer, and he just started saying, temporary discomfort, temporary discomfort. So, you know, it's not an injury. You don't need to cry, and you know, you got a little ding. So anyway, great fun. On the first 5 loops, I went real slow, and I talked really detailed about Social Security and savings. Now, this is important if you're a young person. The savings part is very important. It's especially important when you realize if you can save $100 a month, you probably will have at least $2 million in the bank when you retire. And if you wait to collect Social Security, you can collect about 70% more money than if your check will be about 70% higher if you wait until age 70 versus taking it early at age 62. Plus, most people are working anyway still, so they really can't take it at age 62, because if you make too much money, even if you declare that you're going to take Social Security, you don't get a check if you earn too much money. They just hold on to that check for later. And then when they do start paying you later on, when you make less money, let's say when you actually retire, you already have taken a hit for claiming Social Security early, even though you didn't get any checks. And so your check will be far less, and you'll never make up for that money. So it's always better, if you can, to wait to take Social Security as late as possible, at least till 67, which is the full age of retirement for Social Security purposes. But 70 is even better. In 3 years, you might go from, say, a $3,500 check to a $4,500 check or a $5,000 check, just in 3 years, because those 3 years, every year you wait, you collect 8% more, and plus a little cost of living bonus. And then the next year, 8% of that new amount, and then the next year, 8% of that new amount. So about 30% more money in just by waiting 3 years, which is a great return on your investment. And if you're working during that time anyway, you're making plenty of money, so you don't need the money. You can afford to wait. So anyway, that was it. Life is good. My wife is it's very nice for me to have my wife back home instead of living with her mother, who was aging and passing away over about a 3-month period, where my wife was there 24 hours a day. And it's just so nice to get the house kind of back to normal and recovering from that. And we're still working on making sure everybody gets whatever they want. As far as my mother-in-law had a beautiful Sigma guitar and a hand-tooled leather guitar strap that my father-in-law made for her years ago. And so I was able to get both of those, and every time I play those, I will essentially be holding her hand, my mother-in-law's hand, so that's going to be very sweet. All right, folks, that's it for me now. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope you've been able to ride. If you can get to Enoree, there's a couple of puddles, but overall, Enoree right now is fantastic. So, take it easy. Good to see you. See you next time. Bye-bye. What do you say, everybody? 14 Guitars here. We are at Enoree OHV, South Carolina, about an hour north of Columbia, South Carolina. Up the I-26, just a few miles from I-26, the freeway, main freeway that goes north here. You got 95, you got 26. 26 kind of goes northwest. It is, what is today? It is, I don't even know. I think it's there we go, November 13th. All right. Yeah, so let's get our speedometer app up and running here, which I like. Why I bought this quad lock was to put that speedometer app on there. Anyway, 14 Guitars here. We're going to have a great day. I haven't ridden Enoree in a while. I came up here a couple weeks ago and it was closed. The call line was offline, so I took a chance. I got family up here anyway, but yeah, ended up not riding. So today I'm going to do a sight lap, which is all 5 loops, medium speed. Then I'll decide whether to go ahead and do another 5 laps a little faster. All right, sun's going down fast. Let's get out there and get a couple of loops in. We're not going to talk much. Going to basically just ride. So go ahead and put the reserve on. I don't think we'll actually reach reserve, but I'm not really sure how many miles this thing will go before it hits the reserve. So let's just hit a few bumps and then get back before dark. I'm actually essentially recording this as a separate video. It may be part of the first one. We might do the whole thing together. Might post them separately. We'll see. A little after 4 o'clock. Sunset's 5:20, right? But in the mountains, you're going to have reduced visibility. I'm not going to do anything too crazy because I'm the last one here. It is getting dark. But we'll go with once again 60% speed or so, right? Just keep the speed decent, keep in a high gear, fairly high gear. Roll smooth as we can. Like I said, not much talking. I'll probably talk about something, but I'm not going to concentrate on any particular subject like I just did with the Social Security discussion and the investment discussion.
I've always called it trail number 1. And the Forest Service calls it something like 512A. Using their code. The Forest Service has a code for all their trails, I believe. So Enoree is a national forest. So a $50 membership covers Enoree, Parsons Mountain, Wambaw, and I can't think of the last one. Cedar Springs. $50 a year. Covers riding at all those places. If you happen to live next to one of those, you'll likely ride at least 10 times a year, right? But it's nice that you don't have to get a separate membership or pay $5 every time you go ride. Like Wambaw is my home trail. I ride Wambaw way more than 10 times a year. But when I'm here, I don't have to do anything. I've already got my membership for the Forest Service, my $50 for Wambaw, and I'm covered here. I've been to Parsons Mountain. I think it was closed and we rode Cedar Springs, or vice versa, my nephew and I. And it was nice to already be covered on both. Most of those trails are not worried about paying anything. Probably time for me to change the oil. I think I've got about 7 hours on this oil. I want to change it. I'd rather change it a little too often than not enough. Of course, the YZ transmission is pretty bulletproof. You could probably change it the way I ride. Definitely every 15 hours with no issues. Probably 20 with no issues at all. I'm not slamming it into low gear. I'm a lugger. I lug the heck out of this bike, as you can see. All right, we're on the red trail. What I would call red trail number 2. Second trail. You pop out on trail 1, make your first right, and you're on trail number 2. I wasn't sure about that. Something told me to slow down. You know, your muscle. I couldn't have told you if I was watching a video. I don't think I could have said, hey, right here we're about to hit that big puddle. But something in my brain told me, ease it off instead of jumping through there. And you know, that's what muscle memory can do for you. Pay attention to it, listen to it. Often your brain will understand something without being able to completely transmit it into your consciousness, fully understood. But to give you enough of a signal to help you maybe pause when you should, like it just happened. Because, like I said, I couldn't have told you if I was watching film, that's where that mud puddle is. But something definitely told me, slow down just a little bit here. And normally, that's not a place I would slow down at all. Nothing about it would normally make me slow down. If anything, I'd speed up like this, right, and jump over it. I don't know if we're going to be able to do all 4. Let's quit talking. Let's start rocking. hand going up like that, I'm raising my visor. I put it down a little bit earlier so the sun was in my eye. Not a problem anymore because there's no sun in these woods anymore. The sun is below the horizon of the mountain. Even though the sun sets on a flat field, still has 40 minutes to go or more. Oh, that front wheel just goes right down that bushy rut. Sucked it in. I was ready for it. You gotta love it when you let it eat right. This bike is so much fun. Those leaves are slick, baby. That rear would just slide on those leaves with the slightest bit of turn on the bike. See, somebody went off that ditch there. Somebody went straight. It looked like a quad maybe, but I hope they were okay. Alright. Bridges are no joke. They can get really slippery. Make sure you're straight when you hit the bridge. If your bike's leaned over a bit, you can go for a fun little ride. You're not expecting. So weird how I'm still working on mastering hitting those little tiny bumps where half the time I shoot off real nice and sometimes that back seat jumps up and hits me right in the booty. Tries to eject me. Harder to see, obviously. The camera's probably going to make it a lot brighter than it really is right now, but it's not hard to see. It's just harder. Starting to lose a little bit of definition, so you might not see a bump or a rock or a rut as much. Not bad yet. We're not there yet. All right, two-way. Let's go, baby. Then we'll have to make a decision about trail number 4 here. So we're about to hit 3. I think 3 is pretty short. I think 2 is longer than 3. So, knock out 3 real quick. Yeah. shows up on video, we can show it. It won't be beautiful because of the videos are always prettiest when the light is low, but you can still actually see the light shining through the trees. So early mornings and early evenings, you got light shining through the trees sideways, creating this beautiful long shadows. The same thing goes for photography, right? The middle of the day, you know, very harsh light coming straight down is not good for much. I'm sure the professional photographers will know situations when that's actually good. But for me, the golden hour is the first and last hour of the day. You get these beautiful high contrast shadows because everything has higher contrast naturally on it. And there's more structure. If you're going for very stark, like trying to make some kind of a statement or show like a stark desert, you might want to show it right in the middle of the day when everything's just flattened out completely. The light on it. That same scene right before sunset, when the sun is way down near the horizon, you get these long shadows, and those shadows are going to hit little contours and one more time through there, I would not hit that red again. But my muscle memory is still not quite there on that one because, frankly, it wasn't as frightening as that other one to hit. It's not as big a deal, right? Put your feet up so they don't get knocked off the pegs and go. As always, remember, any puddle that you haven't been through before could be far deeper than you expect. And a very deep puddle that you're not expecting will take you for a fun little ride. Well, no problem getting through this trail. That's the last of the deep ruts that I hit, mud puddles that I hit the whole last ride. So I think we're done with those now. So we got those out of the way when you can still kind of see them pretty good. I think everything else in here is fairly mild, puddle-wise. Stay out of that. Spoke too soon, didn't we? All right, let's go hit 4. Two-way to 4. Two-way trail to 4. Short ride. 4 straight ahead. I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. There's plenty of light. We'll see when we're on the back side of the mountain whether that's true or not. I think so. What else has been going on? Well, coming up on Thanksgiving here in the United States, my favorite holiday by far. Food and fellowship, football. it. And we're going to make a turn off of this to the right, where I believe it becomes purple. So, what I would always call Trail 4 is two trails, yellow and purple. We'll see if that's right. I think that's right. I like the big giant colors instead of like these little tiny things. Nice big, great big colors. You know, if somebody asks you where you are and you don't know these trails very well, you can definitely say, I'm on yellow. And if somebody didn't know the trails very well, trying to come by you, they can find you following yellow. So I like the color system. We ought to do that at all trails. I know we do that at Wambaw. I think it's red, green, and blue at Wambaw. There's only 3 trails, so you don't need yellow or purple. I'm pretty sure it's red, green, blue. The north and the south sections. You know, the north and south at Wambaw, remember, have short, medium, and long trails. You might hear called short, intermediate, and full trail. But the same thing, right? The bike really does better in fourth at most of these speeds. We're still on yellow. We made our turn. We're still on yellow, so I don't know where it turns into purple. Unless purple is the last trail. But we still got purple. Oh yeah, maybe that's it. That's right, blue was the first trail, wasn't it? So, if we just stay in fourth, we could probably ride all the way back and forth everywhere. It's not as efficient, but it's sufficient. If you need a little more power, you can always just pull the clutch in it, get the RPMs up, get your horsepower up. Now here's where I really can't see a lot of details of the whoops. I bet you can't see it on camera either. I'm just going to stand up to make sure you know where they are. If you're standing up, your body can take some remarkable bumps, even if you don't know they're coming. If you just stand up and slightly bend your knees, the bike will go over a lot of stuff that you might have an issue with if you're sitting down. Right? They might shoot you over the bars if you're sitting down. Then if you're standing up, it just absorbs. So, when in doubt, stand up. If it's getting dark on you, or you're out early morning, or going dark woods, not really sure what you're going to hit regarding the trail. Yeah, we're racing that sun now, aren't we? It's down. Almost. You see it over the hill there. See it? But these trees pretty much block it completely. The actual sun itself. Not the light. Like, there you go. It came through right there. That's the first we've seen through here in a little while. Bouncing off of me right here. But we're about to go to the other side of the mountain. And then we'll pop out again as we move along. Because I think I'm going to do all the rest of it. So we'll do all 5 trails twice. There's no question. Visibility is impaired. A little bit. The other key in conditions like this is really keep your eyes looking forward. Your night vision is not right in the front of you. your best night vision is slightly off-centered. So if you're looking a little further up the trail, your eyes will actually see the trail in front of you better. Why is that? Because your fovea is the part of your eye that contains the most rods, the most cones. Cones are for color vision. So, in low vision, if you look at something exactly, your fovea is looking right at it. And the portion of your eye with all the cones. Cones see color vision. Rods see black and white. And rods see better in low light. So if you can look a little further up the trail than you normally do, your rods will do a very good job of seeing the trail in front of you. And your brain will fill in the blanks of having a little less color. It'll fill in the structure better so that your muscle memory can respond better. All right, up here on top of the mountain, right, we got sun. I think it's going to be in my eyes here in just, yeah, there it is. And I think we're going to make a turn up here and face it right at me. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, but there's enough woods in the way that it's not, you don't need dark glasses like you do at Wambaw. Wambaw, when the sun is really low in winter, man, you need you can benefit from tinted goggles, or if you're a person that rides with glasses, you can wear dark glasses. When the sun is very, very low, because it'll shine right in your eyes this time of year. I use my helmet visor at Wambaw a lot. So I keep it fairly loose so I can lower it when the sun's in my eyes and raise it back up as soon as I turn. And I am not in agreement with those who say your visor should always be low. I don't agree at all. And the reason is, I don't need it low. I don't have people in front of me throwing rut up into my face. I'm not dodging someone else's dirt or rocks. And I want to see these beautiful woods. So unless I have to lower it, my visor's up. Right here, very slightly, sun in my eyes. But not enough to lower the visor. Actually here, compared to Wambaw, I keep my visor more tight because I'm generally keeping the visor up at all times. Whereas at Wambaw, I need to be able to move it up and down a little easier. I do it a lot more frequently. Woohoo! That's a little rough, but not bad. So here we shift to third. And right back and forth. All right, now we're gonna make our turn. I think, oh, orange, okay. So yellow goes straight, orange goes to the right. All this time I feel like I stay on what I would call Trail 4. to make a left instead of the right this time. A couple miles up ahead, because it's more 3D and it's more fun. I'll show you where I'm talking about when we get there. I really need to follow my advice and start looking a little further ahead though. Oh, this is so pretty. Beautiful leaves. Ooh, big old hawk. What it was, a big hawk. Sometimes it could be an owl, but during the day it's most likely going to be a hawk. Time of year you can see this gigantic turn 180 coming up. When it's really bushy, you go around that corner and all of a sudden it's like a giant 180. I'm like, holy smokes! Go straight up the hill. into the light, baby. The beauty of Trail 5. Nice and bright. Mile 20 it says. That all depends on where you started. I think each lap I do, it's about 19 miles. I think I get a total of 38-mile workout here for riding all loops twice. Got coming up. There's no way it's going to show it on camera. How dim it's getting here. But boy, it's obvious. Definitely affects how fast I want to go. Can't see the features. Don't help. Don't help you to see. Alright. Purple. Now we're on purple. Maybe we've been on purple. I can't remember. That was actually just my foot hit the brake. I got a little out of shape there. And my right foot moved forward just a little bit and hit the brake. Fight. In that rut. Getting off the gas thankfully worked after it got pulled to the side. That was 2 warnings, right? My foot goes on the gas because I got out of shape, or the brake because I got a little out of shape. Then I hit that rut. I didn't see it. 2 warnings. Just, when you get 2 warnings for yourself like that, just back off a little bit. It's a warning to yourself, man. Just take it just a little easy. Maybe another day when you're riding with somebody, you know, take a few more chances. Go as fast as to get a few more warnings. Because often, after your 3rd warning, you end up with a get off, bounce off a tree or go off the trail or something happens. So, pay attention. Boy, one thing's for sure, tons of squirrels today, way more than I usually see. I must have seen 6 squirrels at least, and quite obvious on the trail. Usually, you know, you'll see them out of the corner of your eye, but they are really moving around. I don't know if it's the squirrel rut. There is a squirrel rut, just like there's a deer hunting rut. The squirrels are doing all their breeding and acting all crazy, and they're just like white-tailed deer. They go through a period of, you know, risking it all for a mate. They get far less cautious. Slick as it can be through here. Please. Treating it a little bit like sand. Roll slide. All right, we're getting there. We're almost on the home stretch here. There's a really fun section coming up that I love on this trail. Right here, this whole section, so much fun. These big bull turns, a couple of uphill jumps. Full turn. Ah, so much fun. They're mostly dry. Remember, there's 3 jumps here, right? 4 jumps. There's the 4th. After this one, there's a curve down here. Be ready to turn. I guess there's about 6 jumps there now, or 7. Alright, we just hit the chicane. Just right before that left turn. Don't jump too far. We're going to go left instead of right here. Boy, hard to see. I went right last time. Right is flatter and faster. This is more 3D. In my opinion, a lot more fun. Look, golf balls. 3 of them. Oh, so that was a chicane right there. Not that other one. So what happened was my face hit my phone, and then I did a flying V or whatever. Probably the bars curved, you know, hit. I don't know where the bike actually landed. It looks like I landed right here. So I hit that chicane too fast, missed my brake. By the time I hit the brake, I was airborne. I don't think I'm hurt. You know, I wear all my armor. And thankfully, it looks like I just tumbled forward. And strangely enough, I tumbled into 3 golf balls. Isn't this crazy? And I'm going to grab them. Whew. Why they are here, I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. But I'm going to grab them. Oh, that was exciting. Let's see. All right, I want to stop for just a moment. Be right back. All right, that's why we wear all gear all the time, right? So the bike was up there. I hit here. I flew through that jump. Maybe we need to put a little slow down sign right there. What happened was an earlier left turn I thought was the chicane. Probably if it was a little brighter, I would have known that's not it. What I call this jump a chicane, because you got to slow down to hit this corner here. So that jump slows you down. But if you're not aware, if you already think you've hit that chicane, there's not another one of these jumps right before a turn after that, the whole way back. So my brain was saying, hey, I already hit a jump. I've already hit my chicane. Any jumps I hit, I can hit at speed. By the time I realized it about the time I was going airborne. So I hit both brakes, my front wheel and my rear, pulled in my clutch. So you can hear the bike ring when I bounced off of here, because the clutch was in. Then the bike bounced forward. I believe the front wheel probably landed here, and the bike flipped over. And hopefully we get some good footage from that. And thankfully I'm not injured. So let's get back before it gets dark. All right, kiddos. Bike was on the side for a while. What do we got to do to start up a bike that's been flooded? Full throttle, keep it neutral, and crank it. There's a lot of fuel and oil to get out of the chamber here. What happens? It actually goes into here, in the crankcase. It fills up the crankcase to some degree. It floods the carburetor. And so when you first start it up, you got all this extra gas in your crankcase, which immediately is sucked into your cylinder and makes the bike hard to run. It kind of fouls the plug. All right, feels good. Let's get back to it. I never did restart my watch. There's a reason I usually don't stop my watch. Because when all else fails, my watch will have my full ride. Even if the watch runs for 4 hours, recording me going and stopping in different rides and going back to the truck and eating, I'll have at least I don't lose the ride if I lose my camera footage or my GPS. All right, let's go. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta go get, I took off my goggles. Took off my goggles. Took off my goggles. I thought I could see really well. Look at all that smoke. Look at all that smoke. Oh. doesn't help that I'm already tired. Whew. All right, let's go get those goggles. Oh, I put them upside down on my helmet. The smoke is still going through the woods. All right, baby. Look at that gas pouring out. I might have to adjust my float level. That doesn't seem like enough of an angle that I should worry about fuel coming in, overflowing, but maybe it is. Alright, back to the truck. I always ask myself, should I leave a crash like that in? You know, I look like an idiot. It's embarrassing. But, you know, I'm fallible. I exceed my capabilities all the time. I've always liked to push the boundaries. I already said, you know, I had a couple of warnings that I was going too fast. And I was trying to pay attention to that. But you know, just the little bit of lack of lighting was confusing enough that I made that mistake. I'm just thankful that I always wear my gear. I tend to fall. You know, I'm a surfer, so when we fall, we ragdoll, it's called. You kind of pull your arms and legs in, and you just relax, let yourself bounce. And I think that's the best way to fall on a dirt bike as well. Once you let go of the bars, I tend to hold on to the bars as I crash right till the end, but then I just let go and let myself fall over. I don't try to put an arm out and stop myself. Another squirrel. I don't try to put an arm out and stop myself. That's how you break a collarbone or break your wrist. And I've never had a wrist or collarbone injury. I just don't put my arms out. I just fall. Let myself land shoulder first, often, or my side. That time it appears that I landed helmet first, right? In a pile of, thankfully, soft, really soft pine needles. But like I said, with gear and just falling kind of a ragdoll technique, your body just bounces. You're not putting stress. Imagine trying to hold your arm straight out when you land on the ground. Let's say you held your arm out just like this, and you hit the ground, and you held it out with all your might. Far more likely to get injured if you just tuck your arm against your body and just fall over and roll. The brunt of the impact when I did fall, I think, was on the bike with my right thigh. But I wear these pants that have these shorts, undershorts, that are hard padded. So I've got big hard pads on my thighs. So you can get a pretty good impact without injury. And because I hit the bike a couple times with my thighs over the years, like especially you can hit the handlebars if you go over the bars. And anyway, yeah, I'm going to put the crash in there because that's what happened. I crashed. That's the first crash I've had that was any kind of significance in a long time, and thankfully it wasn't, it didn't hurt me at all. Could have. All right. Wonderful ride. Loved it. Had a great time. Look at this beautiful dirt bike, all dirty and nasty. Oh, that's so pretty. Ah. I love her when she's dirty. Woo! Now here it's pretty bright because we got direct sunlight. All right, let's talk. Great ride. Had a nice time. Had a little bit of a crash, but that's okay. We're okay. No problem. No harm, no foul. The dirt bike is nice and dirty like it should be. I hope you all have had a chance to get out and ride, have a good time. Forgive my lisp, I got my mouthpiece in, my teeth protectors. Like I said, I hope you all have had a chance to get out and ride. Hope you all had time to spend with friends and family, those who love you and those who you love. If you like my videos, hit a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.